And BTS, the wildly popular South Korean K-pop group, visits the White House to speak about the growth in anti-Asian hate crimes in America. Well, to the United States now, where a meeting between K-pop powerhouse BTS and President Biden saw the Korean boy band saying they're devastated by the recent surge of hate crimes, including against the Asian American community. Now, the South Korean group met with President Biden at the White House today to discuss the issue of anti-Asian hate. The K-pop phenomenon are well known for using their music and enormous fan base to speak out on important social issues. They met with the U.S. president privately after making brief statements to media in the White House press briefing room.
And lastly, we thank President Biden and the White House for giving this important opportunity to speak about the important causes, remind ourselves of what we can do as artists.
Well, I spoke earlier to Hope King, who has been covering the issue of anti-Asian hate for Axios. She reflected on why the U.S. president would be meeting with the K-pop group.
They are a global hit, and if they do anything, if they say anything online, it will reach hundreds of millions of people. And I think that's one reason the White House invited them today on the last day of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month to talk about this issue. One of their tweets last year following the shooting death of 6 Asian women in the Atlanta area spa shootings, that was one of the most retweeted tweet of 2021. So I think that's why it was important for the White House, which has been trying to do a lot more to raise awareness around anti-Asian hate crimes, to invite them here today.
Hope, is it my understanding right that anecdotally we definitely did see hate crimes against the Asian community rise post-COVID or during COVID? And can you talk us through why that happened?
Right. So really starting, in 2020, we saw a surge in these hate crimes, and there have been different ways to measure the number of those hate crimes. There are official federal, reports based on what the cities are reporting back up to the federal level. And then there are also academic studies as well. And so one of the most recent reports has shown that last year there was an increase of about 340% in hate crimes directed toward Asian people. That is on top of the record that we already saw in 2020. And part of the reason is because of the former president criticizing China and talking about where the virus may or may not have come from, inaccurately, of course. And so people were conflating the region, the country of China, people who look like me, maybe from that region here in America, with that kind of rhetoric. And I think one of the reasons why we see that continue, the numbers continue to climb, is because now as we are entering the midterm election season here in the U.S., there have been politicians who have been using China again as part of their campaign to drum up, support for their base, whether it's about anti-competitiveness, things unrelated to COVID. Right. And so you're seeing that also play out as well.
Is it just about COVID, though, Hope? I'm interested briefly, if you don't mind, or is it more widespread?
It's been a systemic issue, but COVID certainly has brought it back up to the forefront in the last couple of years. Really since the founding of this country, there have been specific laws passed to prevent, let's say, Chinese people from coming in, from getting citizenship. And then, during the civil rights movement and even, a couple decades after, there have been protests and violent beatings and killings of Asian Americans because of the systemic belief that Asians have created some kind of economic unfairness.